roofing contractors. In this video, I'm going to show you a proven system that has worked time and time again for all my roofing clients. And as you can see here, we've already gotten 27 leads for $18 cost per lead. So in this video, I want to show you guys how I set up my campaigns and the ad sets so you guys can also do this for your company. So this video is going to be for roofing contractors that don't want to pay an ad agency to do it all for them, that they just want to go ahead and do it themselves. So I want to give you a quick rundown on what I do when I first set up a campaign and ad set. So let's get straight into it. So I'm currently in a demo account. I'm just going to show you how I set up a campaign, quickly run through everything that I do so that you can go ahead and do the same. So quick rundown of the campaign objective. You're going to want leads. I don't do engagement, I don't do traffic, I don't do awareness, I don't do app promotion or sales. You just want leads, because Meta over the years has gotten really good at finding your perfect target. So if you choose engagement, it's going to find the most common people to message you, right? And it's not really going to turn into a lead. So you're going to want to go for a lead campaign. That's the most important. Don't neglect that part. Now, depending on your budget, I do recommend a $50 budget, because that's the industry average. But if you can go a little higher, that'd be perfect. $20 a day. It is going to be harder to collect data and to know what's working and to know what to improve. So you're going to have to, instead of having a 7-day period where you test a $50 a day per budget, you're going to, with $20 or less, you're going to have to extend that to a week. So depending on the time that you have or how fast you want to start bringing in leads, I recommend a higher budget. But you do have to make sure that you know what you're doing and you know that your ad, your offer, and everything in your service area makes sense. So that's all I pretty much just touch. All I do is just starting out, depending on the client, right? $50 a day. That's all I do here. I change nothing else. I do leave it at campaign budget, just because ad set budget, you do have more control on what ad you want to spend. But since you're just starting out, you're just getting information, campaign budget is really good at finding that target audience and distributing your budget into the winning ad. So I fully trust campaign budget. That's what we've been doing. As you see, we've been getting good results with $18 cost per lead. But now we're on the ad set level. I do run websites. You can do website and calls or just instant forms. If you have the time for Messenger, I don't really recommend it, because you are gonna be doing a lot of back and forth texting, or it's like some of my clients, we did an AI agent. It went pretty well, but I just recommend a website, because a website, you can qualify the customer way more. So half the leads that you call, they're not gonna waste your time. They're not target, they're serious buyers, because with the website, you have a survey on there that qualifies the customer, make sure that their intent is super high. So website, and then you want to make sure it's maximum number of conversions, and then you choose the meta pixel that you're using. You have to make sure that you set up your pixel correctly, because the pixel is what's going to make or break your campaign. Because you have to make sure whatever CRM or whatever system you use, you have to make sure the pixel is correct, because it keeps feeding who your target audience is. So every time you start a campaign, it knows who to target. Now here, this is just a demo account, so I don't have any conversion or active events. But the one you want to choose, it would say lead, and then it would say like a green arrow, a green check mark with like conversion API. So you would want to choose lead, right, for the conversion. It's telling me to set it up because I don't have it set up yet, because this is just a demo account. But other than that, all this I leave off. All this off. 7-day click, I don't touch none of that. Boom, dynamic creative, that's off. The budget strategy, we have already set it up with campaign budget, so we don't have to worry about this. Now the date and the starting time. So I do recommend, if it is later in the day, like around 2, 4, or even in the evening, I do recommend you wait until the next following day to start this campaign, because if you start it late in the day, Facebook is gonna try to squeeze those $50 throughout the remaining time of that day. So you're not really gonna have that much information, and you're just gonna waste money. Instead of starting it the next day, now you have that whole period to get information, right? So I recommend, if it's before 11 a.m., I recommend you start that campaign as right now, or if it's after 11 a.m., I recommend you wait until the next day. Now, audience, I usually just leave it broad because throughout the years, like I said, the Metal Pixel has gotten really good on knowing who to target with creative and your ad copy. So it knows who to speak to. Locations, obviously your service area, whatever area you're in, you would change this to your service area. Boom. Now, you want to change the age to 35. To 30 or 35 and leave it at 65 plus. Genders don't touch. Detail targeting, depending on if you're a roofing company that specifically works with multifamilies or real estate owners, right? If you're in that niche of just like commercials, or because I know some companies, if they're in a competitive area, the best strategy to do is to just be a king of one niche. So if you're in a certain niche like real estate or commercial buildings, you can do some interest, like for example, real estate. Boom, real estate. Choose real estate as an interest, or you can choose Facebook admins. Just some ideas, right? Some, because business page admins, meaning they have like a building, so, or businesses, commercial property, real estate. See, so you could target those interests if you have a specific niche. I usually just leave it broad because we target residential homeowners, and this usually works great for us. Now, placements. A lot of people don't touch the placements, but I do. I prefer to have more control where my budget goes. And I know for a fact that Audience Network or Threads, that won't pull any clients for our ads, right? So I go in here and I do usually just leave everything to do with Facebook and Instagram. Like this right column, I get rid of this. Video feeds, Explore, I get rid of the Explore too. Explore Home, I get rid of that. I usually just only leave Instagram feed, Facebook profile feed, Marketplace. I used to click Marketplace off, but some of the leads that came through, I spoke to them and I found out that most of them be scrolling on Marketplace. So I do leave Marketplace on now. And then Stories, Reels, leave all this on. Messenger, Stories, I do turn that off. In-stream, turn off. You don't have to necessarily follow this, but this is just what I do, because I don't want to waste, even if it's just like $1 or $2 or $3. I don't want to waste that money. I want it all to go into what I know for a fact my customer audience is. So that's pretty much it. Detail targeting, you could play with that. I do recommend you only do one target at a time, because you have to think about it like this, because you won't know what works. If you have too many interests, too many targets, how do you know which one it is that's giving you the best results? So I do recommend you do one targeting at a time. Don't overcomplicate it. And if you do want to do multiple targets, you will need a higher budget, but you can just duplicate this ad set and then have that second ad set a different target, and you can have them compete against each other and see which one actually does better. So one target at a time. Now you can go ahead and exclude, say you've been running ads for a while now, and say you've noticed that the pixel somehow isn't really targeting the people that you want. You can exclude, you can create an audience in the settings in it. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to show you how to do that. But you can create an audience that excludes the people that have already seen your Facebook ads or click the button within the amount of days that you choose. So for example, you could choose 180 days of people that viewed your account or your ad. They won't be targeted in the next campaign. So you can do that, but let's head to the ad level. Typically, I do name everything just to keep everything organized. For example, I do recommend about 4 different images or videos depending on what you choose. If you have a lower budget, I do recommend no more than 2 images, or a video and 2 images. That's typically what I go for. Now, you do want to target different things depending on the service area and where you're at. If you have high competition, you're going to want to stand out. So not everybody's doing carousel or videos. So I do recommend you see what your service area likes first, right? So for a roofing ad, The two images that I've seen that work great and wonders is a picture of a roofer doing some type of roofing work, right? Or the team photo, or even just the one of the crew members and the homeowner. Those images work great. That's what I've tested multiple times, and I've seen that those always overrun the other image that I'm testing it with. Now, you've probably seen these couple ads, but another image that works is the one from Canva. It's a Canva template, but it's basically an image but with three different images in one. So it's like a cutoff of one square and then two little squares, and then you put your images in there of the crew working. That has also worked wonders for us as well. But typically you want to make sure the image relates to do has but typically you want to make sure that the image relates to roofing. You know what I mean? Because most people, they have like ads where it's like some, it has nothing to do with roofing, because you have to make sure you have because because the creative is super important. You have to think that because the creative is super important. The creative is what stops the scroll, and it's what makes the person decide if this ad or post is for me or not. Because if it's someone looking for roofing, if they see an image of a roofing company, they'll be like, hold on, I do need a roofing service. Let me see what they have to offer. And then they're going to go straight into it. So you have to make sure your image speaks to what you're offering. And videos do go, and videos are great. If you can do like a homeowner testimonial of your company, those work wonders. Video is king, but images do just fine. A video can qualify the lead a lot more, but if you have an image and you run a landing page, you should be fine with the quality. If you do run a Facebook form does bring lower quality leads, but if you have a higher intent form, meaning you add more questions inside the Facebook form and you add like a verification page where they verify the info that they provided, because sometimes Facebook form, it automatically puts their information in there, and it could be old numbers and old emails that aren't even in service anymore. So you do have to be careful with that. If you can, I do recommend a website landing page, which is what we build for every single one of our clients. It's a simple landing page with the headline that relates to the ad copy that you have to offer, and then it's a survey and some testimonials. That's it. There's nothing else. It's just the logo on that page to make them feel like they are in the right place by seeing your company logo, and they're like, oh, yep, I'm in the right place. So that's it. A single action landing page is what it's called. Just a survey, testimonials, logo. That's it in the headline, right? Because I don't want distracted, or I don't want them to scroll down on our landing page and look at other different sections and then forget what they even landed there for, right? Because things happen. So for example, say they go on your landing page and the baby cries and they're over here like looking at different sections and they just forget about the survey. So things happen. So I want to make it as quick as possible, so when people click, they know what to do and how to do it. So keep that in mind when you make a landing page. But for the ad copy, I can provide some previous winning ad copies in the description down below with some headlines that I've worked with us in the past. Keep in mind, these are old winning creatives. Some I don't even use anymore, but the idea that you can extract from these ad copies, basically the angles and the offers that we do, those you can extract from it and think of it in your own creative way to create new winning copy. Or you can just come in ChatGPT, or you can just go in ChatGPT, paste the copy in there, and then ask ChatGPT to recreate it and create a better offer or improve it, in whatever way you want it to improve. But say you want to look at competitors. This is a little cheat code that not a lot of people look. This is a little cheat code that not a lot of companies. This is a little cheat code that not a lot of people know about. But if you go to the ad library, you go here, you can actually look at other competitors and other roofing companies that are promoting here. So you just type in roofing, and you can see all this type of creatives and ad copy that people are doing. And you could take ideas like this one. I think this one's pretty sick. Customer testimonials with the logo, blah, blah. But I do recommend you add some more like roofing photos. videos. Look, boom. So this is another way to spy on your competitors and basically know what's working and what's not. Now, how do you know what's working and what's not? So I do recommend you pull from old creatives, old ads, right? So this is 2018. Let's put it let's leave it at that. But let's leave it for the month of April. So last month. You don't want to do the current month. You want to see, because most likely if they've been running it for a while, that means that it's actually been working and it's actually been giving them some leads, right? So if you go here, boom, speak with the roofing expert. I like this angle. But as you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can pull from, a lot of inspiration. And now this is kind of the grid on Canva that I was talking about. So you see how it's split right here, and there's 3 different boxes. This is typically what I use for my clients, and it works great. But keep in mind, it does give you a lot more clicks, because some people can think that if they click on a single box, it will expand the image. So just keep in mind that you will get a lot of clicks. So you might a little bit tweak out, like, why isn't my click to landing page view conversions, why isn't my clicks to conversions like adding up? It's because people think that if they click on this, it would expand, but it would just take them to a landing page. So keep that in mind. But as you can see, photos like this also work great, like family photos of the company. But you have to make sure they know what they're looking at. See, they can tell it's like a company, boom, boom, and they're interested in what they're reading, bam. But that's pretty much it. I can go ahead and in this description, you can go ahead and pull a Google document of previous winning copies with image ideas that I've done, and I would also add a Canva template in there that you can go ahead and click and copy and start pasting your own images. So thanks for watching.